kings and queens and everything in between. This is due with a special type of video, a discussion that I was having with a very, very special friend of mine. Um, it's about it's about recognition. It's about the careers of individuals that don't necessarily start in WWE, but they have made somewhat of a name for themselves within the company. And based on, I can't say casual fans, I can't just say casual fans are behind this, but then there are some real hardcore wrestling fans that are a part of this problem, a part of this narrative that because of their, because of their I want to say, because of their shortcomings in WWE or their underutilization within WWE, makes them not as favorable or marketable now. A prime example of this is Athena. Athena, before she got to the WWE, was one of the most well talked about, one of the most established, right? I said established. One of the most established women's wrestlers that they've had. Like, she's traveled all across the country and even outside the country and done amazing, and had amazing accomplishments to attach to her, right? Amazing long list of accomplishments. And then she gets to WWE, and number one, changes her name from Athena to Amber Moon, which is fine, right? It's fine that they changed her persona. But that they changed her name. Not her persona so much, they changed her name. However, what ended up happening was that they didn't know how to utilize her properly, so they just didn't. They gave her the treatment of like, I want to say, of Shawn Spears, of Aiden English when he was Aiden English back then. They gave him the exact treatment that people that are there now, like Uha Nation, right now in WWE, before the grand takeover of Triple H, and was getting this treatment of like, you're not great at all, and that's an absolute fib in his own. It's a lie. It's an illusion that WWE likes to do, or liked to do, because right now it's a slow process towards that, but it just took too long and a lot of people got their I want to say their reputations damaged because of WWE's controlled narrative is that these people are not as great as you thought because WWE is the top of the top of the top, and if you didn't make it here, then you're just trash. Everything about you done in WWE is what and this is the mindset of some, and even I fell into this category before. I fell into this category like years ago, 10 years ago. I felt that if you didn't make it in WWE, you just weren't good enough, and then you know, hopefully you just find somewhere else that you can make it, right? But as I start to see and realize the pattern of what WWE has been doing, the more I watch, the more that I start looking into certain things, and the more I watch, certain interviews, it it's the same pattern as it's the same. I get the same type of it's like very very it's too coincidental for it to be just a coincidence. It's like odd behavior backstage. The backstage politics, which which is this narrative that if you came from the independents, you came from Ring of Honor or Impact, or like from some of the smaller, some of the independent local shows. If you came from them, or you've traveled around the United States and around the world, that don't matter because WWE is all that matters because that was the controlled narrative that they wanted to put. They wanted to kind of put it out there. Hence why you don't see a lot of you don't see a lot of people get as much of a reaction from casuals and the super hardcore fans that make such weird takes on make such weird and false takes on individuals, especially when it comes to the women, especially when it comes to the women. The takes that I've seen for those that just didn't make it, I'm going to put this out there, Gail Kim. It's a weird take because they can find about a few clips of miscommunication between Gail Kim and her opponent, who, let's be real, her opponent, depending on who her opponent is, depending on the opponents that she faced, which everybody argument could be, oh, if she's such a great wrestler, that she should be able to work with anybody. Not if someone is impossible to work with. Like, not if somebody else is not nowhere near ready to be in the ring with her. And you can show like a bunch of Gail Kim's fail compilations in the WWE, but it doesn't change the fact that Gail Kim is one of the best wrestlers around, like one of the best female wrestlers that would ever performed. Like you see her shine in TNA. Seen her shine, absolutely shine in TNA against the likes of Amazing Kong. Rivalry with Taryn Terrell. And it just goes to show you like what type of career she has. like before WWE. Like a lot of the men and women before WWE were were popular. Were gaining traction, getting noticed because of their namesake, right? Because of who they were before they became whatever WWE came up with, or if not WWE, whatever they came up with themselves, whatever WWE name they have. Before they came to WWE, and let me repeat this again. Before they got into the WWE, they were well known and recognized before WWE. You may have seen them in Ring of Honor. You may have seen them in possibly even in Impact as a possible prospect, right? You may have seen them in fighting in New Japan. You may have seen them in Shimmer, Stardom. You may have seen a lot of the people that you pretty much bash after WWE. You've seen them. You get to now that they're not associated with the WWE, now you get to actually see them shine, and why they were even considered for WWE, why people wanted to see them thrive in the WWE, because they have a lot to offer. And I'm going to stay stuck on Athena because she does. She absolutely does have a lot to offer. If you're not watching her in AEW now, or watching any of her older matches back in back when she was working in Shimmer, back when she was working the Independents, right? Then how can you call yourself a fan of, how can you call yourself a wrestling fan if you're not ever going to watch the wrestling? If you ain't going to watch it, it kind of like it will kill the illusion that WWE, you made it in WWE. It will kill that illusion because it basically is. That's basically what it was for the longest time under Vince's creative control. If you made it in the WWE, then you are making it in the world, and that's an absolute illusion. It was an absolute, it still is, because there are more shows out there. There are more wrestling shows out there other than WWE. It's just that WWE is a broader reach, and it gets to a lot of people. Now AEW is in the running for doing that too, and Impact is reaching people as well. So when people either leave on their own from WWE or they get let go by WWE, it's not because they're not talented enough. It's because in certain cases there's too much talent with no idea on how to utilize it to its fullest potential. I'm really glad that all the people that did not make it in WWE, did not reach a high plateau in WWE, is finding their identities outside of being called, let's say, Rusev, but without being called Ty Dillinger, without being called they're without so much losing their identity. All in all, without losing their identity, without losing their true selves. And now we're getting to see what we've always wanted to see in these individuals that, for reasons beyond comprehension, that old man didn't see. But I just wanted to spend this time to express how I appreciate, I appreciate the kickstart for this conversation that needs to be had. That key points in this, in conclusion, is WWE is not the end all be all. It isn't. And before the WWE, they were not considered nobodies. WWE had to pick them up for a reason. WWE gave them a contract for a reason before they came into the company. There are few exceptions to that. Very few exceptions to that contract being given. But then there are those that were scouted, saw something fantastic in them, got signed to the WWE, wasn't utilized to their fullest potential as promised, let go by the WWE, now is living there, now is free to be them. And I am glad. I'm glad to see it. I'm still watching WWE, but I'm glad to see and hear the accomplishments and the fantastic, the fantastic matches and highlights of those that didn't have that opportunity to showcase 100% of themselves in the WWE. Kings and queens and everything between. Just don't fall for the trap. The WWE trap, that if you didn't make it in WWE, then you don't have a chance. You never had it in you. Because before WWE, their in-ring, their ability spoke loud. Hence why they got the contract in the first place. So, out of a bit of respect, from now on, let's not, because they are disassociated from WWE, let's not call them by their WWE names, out of respect. Because that was probably, I would like to say that was probably a low point in their wrestling career that they probably don't want to reminisce. Unless you are a true fan of that character when they was in WWE. But that's all you. I ain't trying to tell you what to do. If you were a fan of Amber Moon, of Rusev, you was a fan of these names, these characters in WWE, then by all means, mark out for knowing who they are or who they were, right? Mark out for knowing who they were. But understand that now they're branding themselves off of who they are now, or who they were before WWE. I'll say that too. Before WWE, this is who they were, and they're being their full selves. And I can't be happier for them. Peace.